Good morning, YouTube. What's up? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? You guys doing okay? It is the weekend. I am off. I don't work a lot of weekends nowadays, so it's quite nice. Very nice feeling. Not every weekend, but I get a few weekends off now, so it's quite nice. Today I'm here with my little buddy. He doesn't want to come see me. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come say hi. Come say hi. Come say hi. Just say hello. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Why you shy now? You shy? Okay. Well, he's shy. He doesn't want to look at the camera. Anyway, guys, we're making this video because we're going to talk about a couple things. Obviously, we talk everything cars, but today we're going to talk everything cars. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about when you're purchasing a car, especially if you're someone like myself who has a car rental business, whether that be for Turo, whether that be for private rentals, whatever the case may be. So when you're purchasing a car, keep in mind of this, especially if your credit is near 700 or over 700, keep in mind of this. Buying a car through a dealership, I'm gonna try to break it down as best I can. Buying a car through a dealership. So when you go and purchase a car, let's say your credit is 700, right? So pretty good, right? So let's say your credit is 700. So when you're going to go buy a car from a dealership, know this, that even with 700 credit, depending on what car you're looking for, dealership you're going to, et cetera, a lot of factors in there. Keep in mind that they will try to have you put a down payment. They will try to have you put a down payment, whether that's $1,000 or whether it's $10,000. It just really depends. They will tell you, hey, we got certain banks that we work with. We're going to reach out to our lenders and we're going to get you approved. Now, this is just typical, car stuff, whether that's buying a car through your business name or through your personal name. It's almost a very similar process, okay? Now, one thing that I recommend and I want to really talk about is that when you're going to a dealership, keep in mind of this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've never worked for a dealership, but I've discovered some information, and I'm going to try to break it down as best I can. So when you go to a dealership, right, you say you want to buy a Mercedes C-Class, right, the new one, 2022, right? And that car is probably going to be, between 50 and 60,000, right? Now, 50 and 60,000, if you're familiar with going through the process, going through a dealership, you're probably going to pay somewhere maybe close to that $1,000 range. So let's just say 900 for that vehicle. We're talking about up to 60,000. So let's just say 900. Okay. Now you got to keep in mind that your monthly payment may be $900 for a Mercedes C-Class. Now, Mercedes C-Class, that's is it worth 900? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So let's say it's probably gonna be around 900, give or take, right? Could be a little less, could be a little bit more. There's a bunch of different factors, right? 700 credit probably should be a little bit less, to be honest with you. But so we'll kind of leave it at that. So now, around 900, let's just say that, right? That's a high number. Now, around 900, keep in mind of this. Jesus Christ. Yikes. People next to me. Anyway, so around 900, right? Give or take. So now you're going to say to yourself, okay, that's about 900. With insurance, you're probably talking $100-something. So you're easily going to pay over $1,000, right? When you look at that contract that the dealership gave you, you're most likely going to see something that says finance charge. You're most likely going to see things that says dealer fees and things of that nature. Now, finance charge, let me try to break it down as much as I can. That's basically the dealership's way of getting money from you. That's how the dealership makes money. They're going to make money off that finance charge, which is really not a lot for them. But they're also going to make money off of selling you or upselling you other products and things, which you can decide if you really need those things, whatever the case may be. But what I really want to talk about is that finance charge. Now, that finance charge, in most cases, for around a $60K car, you're probably going to see something like a finance charge of about $12,000, right? How do I know this? Because I buy a lot of cars around $60K, so I've seen that number quite frequently. That finance charge is probably going to be around $12,000. Now, that finance charge rolls into your loan. Now, when you have to make that monthly payment every day, right, it's going to be, $900, let's say, right? And that's with that finance charge included. Now, obviously, if you put a down payment, you can then kind of whisper that finance charge away or something of that nature, or at least get it somewhat down. But keep in mind, you got the finance charge and you got taxes, and then those are which is going to make your $60,000 payment $900 payment. Okay, when in retrospect, okay, if you were to go to if you were to have your own bank, this is what I want to talk about. Hear me close, guys. If you were to have your own bank, let's say a credit union, because they typically get you really good interest rates. If you were to have your own bank, you would then pretty much not have to pay that finance charge. Now, I'm going to explain something to you guys. That finance charge comes from the interest that you pay. So in most cases, even with 700 credit, you're probably looking at about 5% interest on that loan. Now, that 5% is because the bank that the banks that accepted your deal, they accepted the deal from the dealership, right? The dealership probably called the bank, said, hey, I got a guy, he's interested, or a girl who's interested in a car, yada, yada, yada. Here's the numbers. Now, we want to put on our end 2.5%, let's just say, right? And the bank's going to look at your credit, and they're going to see a couple things. They're going to be like, all right, you know what? This person looks pretty good. So we're going to give him 2.5%. Now the bank comes back to you, and they say, hey, we got 5%. Do you see how that just happened? Supposed to, if you had your own bank, you would only pay 2.5%, which means what? You're not really paying that dealership finance charge, so to speak, right? You're essentially, if you have your own bank, essentially what you're doing is you're paying the taxes. Like you're just financing through your own bank. You're paying the taxes, and you're paying, and you're paying the amount that the car costs. That is it. Which is a much lower amount. So, for example, when I broke my GLC 43, which I crashed, I brought it through my bank. It came out to about $71K, right? Which means I only paid what the car was, which I paid 65, almost 66, and then I paid whatever the taxes were, which was probably like $5K, right? Now, I'm just paying that. Had I went to the dealership, I would have got a finance charge and a bunch of other stuff. The reason why I'm talking about this and why I want to really get this out here is because I totaled the car, unfortunately, so insurance had to take care of some stuff. So the car was worth about 77, almost 78K. Now, I only paid 65 for it, plus the taxes, so you can imagine, right? I was able to get a nice check to myself and also pay off my bank that had the auto loan with them. Had I went to the dealership, because I didn't have what do you call that stuff? Like when your car's totaled, gap. I didn't have gap insurance. Okay. Now, had I went to the dealership, I probably would have got gap insurance, right? But I would have also paid that finance charge, which means what? The car would have been worth 78, okay? Which means that I probably would have paid something like 85 or 84,000, okay? Which would have means more than what I paid cutting the bank out, okay? And I would have never got a check. It just would have been paid to the car strictly. So that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to let you guys know. Peace.